Let me start with a question. Why do we celebrate Friday and why do we complain about Monday? What is that so special about Friday that we feel so much happiness within? And what is that about Monday that takes away our happiness? Students feel it, leaders feel it, and professionals also feel it. I began wondering, what is that about weekends that doesn't happen on weekdays? What is so special on Fridays that we don't experience on Monday? And I began thinking around it, and the answer I got is freedom. During weekends, we have freedom. Freedom to wake up whenever we want. Freedom to be ourselves. Freedom to spend time with the people whom we love. And freedom to be alive in the most comfortable way we want to be. This is something that doesn't happen on weekdays. I started wondering, what if students get up in the morning, Monday morning, and they say they get excited to go to school every day? What if college students are excited that they are going to learn something extraordinary when they go to college? What if professionals feel the same energy that they feel on weekends on Monday morning? Is it possible to create a culture where everyone say, thank God it's Monday? Let me share some stats with you. Most of the people don't love Monday mornings. Most of the students feel that having such academics create more stress and more anxiety. And young professionals feel that it's more of a survival mechanism than having a purpose in life, going to workplace. As we are progressing as a society, we are progressing so fast, why is our happiness not matching the levels that we should expect? Why are we so unhappy nowadays? And I began wondering, and let me take you to the story that has sown the seed inside me. My Nani, she lived in a village where there were no luxuries of life. No special, there is no AC, there is no modern infrastructure, but whenever we went there, we felt that was the most amazing place we could have ever been. Whenever we went there, all kind of people from metros, people who are from small cities, people who were rich, people who were not, everyone felt the same warmth. And as a child, I began wondering, what is so special about this place that everyone feels so happy to be here? Logically, there was no answer, but emotionally, it was the warmest place I could have ever been. And I started to think, and whenever we went to Nani's home, she used to welcome us wholeheartedly. She used to say, "Aao beta, baitho." She never asked you how successful you are, how much money you have, what designations you have. It really didn't matter to her. What mattered to her was, how are you to be in that moment with you and just to be with you. Whenever we used to eat food and we used to feel we are full, she used to put 2 more chapatis in plate. Not because she didn't knew how to count, but because she was overflowing with love. And that's what that place had. That was a place where people were not judged. There were no labels on people, and you just could have been yourself. Silently, she has sown the seed inside me. Let me take you to my college days. Before life teaching me leadership, it taught me failure. I failed in first year of engineering. And when you fail, something interesting happens. Your classmate stops believing in you. Relative starts labeling you. And my classmates didn't want to do any projects with me because they thought I'll never do anything wonderful in life. And inside, I kept thinking that, this happens with most of us today in life, that we are judged by our marks, we are judged by our grades, we are judged by the ranks we bring. But inside deeply, I thought marks is not going to define the potential of mine. I took a pledge and my mind started finding possibilities. Your mind starts finding answers to whatever you ask. And I started reading something that is outside textbooks. I started experimenting more. I started creating softwares. And as a result, I made some software around graphology. And when I passed out from engineering, I graduated, I became an entrepreneur. And whatever sankalp I had taken, 2/3 of it came to life. I was earning that much. That made me realize that marks may decide the performance I have done in exams, but marks cannot define the potential I will have in my life. And that is how we wanted to create a place where you are not judged. And the quality of your life is the quality of questions you ask. I asked myself, what can I do to achieve this? Life gave me answers. Now, years later, I met Piyush, man whom I married. And when I met him, he shared that he wants to build an organization where there are no hierarchies, where no one calls each other as sir or ma'am. He said he wants to build an organization where people are respected for the knowledge they possess, for the work that they do in organization. The seed that was sown inside me by Nani came to life again. And I understood it's not just a marriage, it's a shared vision, it's a shared sankalp. And whenever the sankalp becomes shared, it becomes more powerful. We were sitting in a boardroom deciding the strategies, and every CXO was giving what is that they will achieve in 3 years. There were expansion plans discussed, there were business plans that were discussed, revenue growth, how it will happen, marketing campaigns that we are going to launch. I was supposed to say, what is that I am going to deliver? And I said, let's make our organization a great place to work. People started laughing at me. They said, we are tier 2 city organization. How can we become great place to work? We cannot. I said, if my Nani could create a culture in village, we can create great place to work as well. Great workplaces are not made by zip codes. They are made by intent. Intent to create a culture where people are valued, they are respected, and where a place where they feel they belong. I told them, give me 3 years time to work on the culture, to develop trust in organization, and to work with people. 3 years later, we ranked among best workplaces in India. Happiness was not about the ranks that we got. Happiness was something that the culture that we wanted to build, thank God it's Monday, was coming to life. We were breathing that culture. How did we do that? How did we create workplaces? Remember, when we have weekends, we get freedom. What we did at our workplaces, we created a culture where freedom was given with responsibility. We created a culture where they were trusted rather than being commanded. We created a culture where there was no judgment. Many people in our organization has stopped trying new things and they were not creative enough. And when we went deep inside it, we found that they had a fear of judgment. What if we fail? Kya kahenge log? What will people say? And to kill this fear of judgment, we started organizing Failure Fest at our organization every year. Yes, you heard it right. We started having Failure Fest. We told people failing is not a problem, but biggest failure is something you have never tried. We taught them how to fail forward and not to fail backward. We taught them that failure is a blessing. It's a tuition fee that you pay for learning leadership. And during Failure Fest, every one of us had a failure wall. Everyone was required to write their failure stories. How did they fail? How did they overcome the failure? And what did they learn? And how will they not repeat failure? And that's how the fear of judgment went, because we all became vulnerable towards each other. We all started sharing our failures and we knew each other deeply. And that's how a deeper connection went. That's how we could create a culture where people say, thank God, it's Monday. Creating a culture is like making a garden. You cannot force plants to grow. You have to give them environment. Good quality of soil, right amount of water, proper sunlight. Whenever they get it, a beautiful environment, the plants grow. That's what happens with people. When you give them a place where they are not judged, where they are not labeled, where you believe in them, you trust them, where they feel they belong, people grow. And that's how we could create a beautiful culture. Women play a very important role. Women today are working in two shifts. First is at work and second is at home. Whenever they go home, they have to look after the responsibilities that they have towards home, towards family, towards kids. But they are the emotional anchors of home. They play a very important role. Women make it possible to feel safe at home. They make you feel that you belong there. And a home feels home because women lays the foundation just the way my Nani did. So, my question to you is, what kind of culture you are creating around you? Whenever anyone comes close to you, do they feel they are growing under you, or do they feel they are shrinking under you? We learned that happiness is not about medals, it's not about ranks, it's not about success. Happiness is none of them. Happiness is a feeling of being wanted, a feeling of not being judged, a feeling of being trusted, a feeling that I belong. Imagine if each one of us starts these lessons from home, which women have created at home. If we start living that value every day, maybe someday all of us stand together, we all create a culture where we are not, take a sankalp, I want you all to take a sankalp that you will not judge someone, you will not label someone. You will create a place where people feel they belong. There would be thousands and millions of people all together, all of us will create a culture of happiness for our society, for our city, for our country, and for the world, because world doesn't need more successful people. There are many. World needs people who create such environment. World needs more kindness. World needs more harmony, and world needs more acceptance. And together, let's all begin creating a culture where every one of us say, thank God it's Monday. Thank you.